All right, good evening, everyone. The time is 6:30, June 11th, 2024, Abington Conservation Commission meeting. First item up is RDA Ralph G. Hamlin Jr. Lane Memorial Field, Town of Abington, to renovate portions of existing playing field areas.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Sean Riley here as a member of the committee that's working on this project. Scott Lambiase, our town manager, is the applicant, but he's asked me to speak, but feel free to ask him any questions you want. I'm not here as town council. I don't represent the town. I'm here as a volunteer for this project. Some of you may already be familiar with this. We have been trying over the last few years, trying to upgrade a lot of the recreational facilities in Abington. Obviously, the new school has the new turf fields for soccer and lacrosse. We put a new track in at Riley Field just a number of years ago with CPA money. We just completed significant upgrades and renovations down at the softball field with new dugouts and a new scoreboard, and the girls won the league. Congratulations to the softball team.
Because we upgraded the field?
Well, I don't, last time we upgraded the baseball dugouts, they won the state championship. This time we upgraded the softball dugouts. They went to the quarterfinals, had a great run, and they'll be back strong next year. Now we're moving on to something, Memorial Field. Memorial Field, as you know, was dedicated and built as a tribute and in honor of our veterans, and it frankly needs a little work, a little upgrading, a little refreshing. So Peter Serino, the Abington Athletic Director, the Abington School Administration, the DPW, the Board of Trustees for the memorial, and myself, along with a lot of others, the Park and Recreation Commission and CPA Committee have been putting together this master plan down at Memorial Field. And where we are now is, this summer, we are just going out to bid to replace the lights on the Memorial Field playing field. They're 34 years old. That's phase one. Those lights can't be replaced now, and they're just fading. So we're going to put those, replace those. Hopefully you'll see that work this August being implemented. And the phase two of that is to fix what people in town call the Dust Bowl, which, if you're looking from the top of the bleachers at Memorial Field, it's the back left quadrant, or geographically it's the northeast quadrant, that you don't see a lot of activity because the soil is so bad there. It's barren, there's a lot of exposed rock, and kids have been getting hurt. So they try to keep people off of that, and it's basically 3 acres of unusable space. So this phase two, which has been approved and funded by the CPA, and then also was approved by town meeting, is to go into that area and basically take up what is there and replace it with nice, sodded, irrigated soil. So it's soft, it's playable, and we gain 3 more acres. Because if you go down there, especially in the fall, not only is the varsity football team out there, but the youth football, 3 different teams are out there. And they're always kind of restricted as to where they can go. And the more places they're restricted means the more worn those areas come. So this now allows us to expand the use of Memorial Field for many reasons. We've also been in contact with the Abington Celebrates Committee because there's some things that we can do with the lights next year that just make it a much more usable space. So, it comes to you. What we're planning on doing, if you're familiar again with the field, is a varsity baseball diamond right behind the Legion building that overlaps the football field, but it also overlaps the JV baseball diamond, which is kind of down near the playground. So if you go down there during the spring, when the high school teams are playing, there are literally the varsity and JV baseball teams playing on at the same time on overlapping fields. So the outfielders are literally standing next to each other, facing opposite ways, and basically they yell if a ball comes the wrong way to get out of the way. That's been a dangerous situation we've always wanted to correct, and this is our opportunity. So the plan is, and it's kind of diagrammed in the plans that are shown to you, is to remove the JV baseball field, the diamond, the clay area, remove the backstops, remove the stone dust, the small youth softball that really haven't been used in years because of the conditions I explained earlier. And we're going to rotate and move the JV baseball field into the Dust Bowl area so that a right-handed batter, if you can visualize it, would hit towards the pond. They won't be able to hit into the pond, it's too far, but that's the direction they would be. So what is now the JV baseball diamond, what is now the stone dust, will become all open lawn space. We're not cutting any trees down, we're not getting into, any closer to the pond than we are now, but there is an area which I outlined that is within the 100-foot buffer, and technically I guess we're within a 200-foot local pond buffer too. We're asking for a request for determination because we're not changing elevations, we're not going into the existing buffer. There's at least 85 feet of an existing tree line and undergrowth that's not being touched, it's gonna be maintained there. What you're gonna get
Between
now.
the work and the water.
What's that?
Between the work and the water.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it acts as a natural buffer, and that is not being touched. So we're not altering any wetlands, not filling any wetlands, shouldn't be any harm to the wetlands, which is one of the things that I know the board under your own regulations has to look at. We are only renovating existing field space, but because we're acting in that area, we need to come to you because we need to get something in writing from you, preferably a negative determination, to put with the bid documents that we are now in a time crunch because we got to get the bid documents out to hopefully do that work this fall, get the sod down, get the irrigation up and running so that it's all ready for use by all the residents the spring of next year. I think the plan is pretty self-explanatory. It's a very limited area that's within that 100-foot buffer, and given the fact that we're actually going to be improving the turf with now sod and new loam that will absorb water and make it safer, it's a win-win-win. One of the things that are in your regulations is, is there a public benefit? And I would say, of course, yes. And it has been obviously supported by the public with the town meeting vote and the CPA vote. I don't want to belabor the issue, but if you have any questions, I will do my best to try to answer them, or Scott is also here with us.
Anybody from the board have any questions?
So it's just this area here that,
Is in your
Triggered.
100-foot buffer
Yeah.
jurisdiction.
And technically.
And the
there's
pond has a
200,
200-foot buffer, right,
But
exactly.
you're not cutting trees down, you're not,
What you see is what you get, but
Yeah.
the grass area will just be better.
yeah,
yeah, so there's no.
you're taking the dirt out, put grass. basically.
Yeah, we're gonna bring in new loam, mix it up. We, yes, everything
And then you're gonna put a backstop and everything, but that's outside.
that's outside. The
Yeah.
only thing that's inside that area, which is mentioned, is there'll be a fence, a chain link fence along part of that buffer area.
Yeah.
So if a kid does hit a ball, it'll get stopped by the fence before it goes into the undergrowth.
And what kind of fence is that gonna be?
Chain link fence. It doesn't run the whole length, there's a fence, existing fence now on the northern property line between the residential neighbors in the field, that stays, we're not touching that because it's built in. The new fence, we're actually gonna leave a gap between that fence and the start of the new fence so that people, animals, kids, whatever, can get around when they want to.
So the plans that we have are existing conditions, but do you have any proposed plans, or are you still waiting to put it up to bid before you get?
We haven't gone out to bid yet for this part of it, but I thought the proposed plans, actually it shows.
Maybe I'm not. So I'm seeing this one's basically gonna move here and face this way. right?
Exactly.
So
Turn the
the-
page, I think.
and it's just a blow up of the same thing.
Yeah, but you're right, exactly. That's, where that little diamond is will be a new JV diamond.
I think just for the sake of records, it'd be good to have a copy of the proposed plan, just so we can see where the new field is and the line of the fence. But
Yep, the line of the fence would be the
somewhere right
existing
along.
tree line, where the green
Oh,
line is.
Here.
Limit of work.
Not here. I got you.
Correct.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, I'll open up to the audience. Anybody in the audience have any questions? All right, I'll bring it back to the board. Nobody has any questions? Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll
Make
make-
a motion for a negative determination for Town of Abington, Ralph Hamlin Lane. I guess it would be the new JV field,
It's called the Memorial Field Improvement Project, really. It's-
what he said.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, the computer.
I just like to spread out. It's all good.
I was sharing. Thank you. I was
Yeah.
trying to.
You want to spread out the plans? All right, next up, RDA 199, 225 Center Street, Town of Abington, for new stormwater management systems, which will be added for new central fire station, new DPW building, and associated site improvements.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself on this one.
Alrighty.
Mr. Chairman, if I could introduce myself, my name's Sean Riley. I'm not here as attorney for the town. I'm here as another volunteer for another committee. I am a member and chairman of the DPW Fire Station Building Committee. With me tonight is Brian McCusker from Weston and Sampson. Weston and Sampson are our site surveyors and engineers, and Brian's going to lead the show for you. But I also wanted to recognize that Chief Glenn is here, along with some members of the fire department. Scott Lambiase, who is the named applicant on behalf of the town of Abington. Mr. Woods, who's a selectman and also a member of our building committee, along with Derek Hamadi, who's a firefighter and also a member of our building committee. I think people. So with that, I'll leave it to Brian to explain and introduce you to the current status of our project.
Hey, good evening, I'm Brian McCusker with Weston and Sampson, project architect for the DPW.
Could you pull that microphone
Oh, yeah.
closer to you?
I know. Thank you. Brian McCusker, Weston and Sampson, project architect for the DPW part of the project, and we are the civil engineer of record for the project. So, just in case anyone's not familiar with the project, we are at 215 to 225 Central Street, which is the existing DPW and police station site, and we're going to turn this into a complex for the whole town. Some of the goals of the project were the needs of the department. They're obviously lacking space and adequate facilities, efficiency, sustainability, and resiliency. And then here are just some resource maps that were in the RDA package. So just want to reiterate, there are no rare endangered species on site, in that we are not located within a FEMA flood zone. And then, so just what is proposed, we have site development. We have, we're putting in a new fuel island as well with above ground tanks. Currently they are below ground. Brand new buildings, we have fire department headquarters, Department of Public Works, and a salt shed. The police station will remain as is. And then the proposed site development. So as you can see right here, here's kind of the existing site plan with areas noted in orange within buffer zones. So to the far left, that little sliver that's orange, that is the 200-foot riverfront. And I'm not going to pronounce the river name. Yep, so I'll let you do that. Buildings in red are going to be demolished. Buildings in green are going to remain as existing. So those two buildings in the middle, one's a vehicle maintenance facility and the other one's a police storage building. Below is the Island Grove 100-foot buffer. I do know that there is another 100-foot buffer off of that, making it 200-foot as well. So you can kind of see that the existing DPW facility, which I think everyone's familiar with, that was built in the 40s, kind of crisscrosses over that. And then on the right side, the adjacent parcel has a little bit of a buffer. And then, so here's the new site plan. And you can kind of see in green are those existing buildings that were going to remain. In blue are the new buildings. So the bottom left is the fire department headquarters with doors for the apparatus bay facing Central Street. Up in the left of the site plan, that's the DPW. And then to the top right, that is the salt shed, which will be adequate to store all the town's salt that they need for a yearly tonnage. The fuel island is also a little bit below that. So we kind of have a ring road where people can kind of come in, go Page North, cut across to the left, and then come back out kind of to the bottom where the fire department is. And then just, you know, some of the project and building features, you know, safety for the occupants, employees, you know, we're going to do energy efficient buildings, you know, resilient design, efficiency gained through the consolidation of departments. You know, it's going to be a secure facility. All your departments will be here. They'll, you know, everything will be secure. You got the police there, you got the fire department there 24/7, full sprinkler coverage, adequate ventilation, adequate lighting, and improved parking lot and site features. And then, so we are here today just to request a negligible termination based on the existing site and proximity to the wetlands in Island Grove Pond and the river. And then, you know, just in case anyone wasn't familiar with this project, I know it's been in town for a little bit. Palmer Associates, they are the owner project manager. Kessel Boos is the architect of the fire department. and then Weston and Sampson, my company, we're the architect of the DPW and civil engineer. And I think I'll open it up. It seems like there's a lot of the project team here, so I think between all of us, I'm sure we can answer. I'm sure there's questions. It's a big project. Lots going on.
So you mentioned part of the proposal is in riverfront, 200-foot riverfront is towards, the bottom of one of the sides?
It's that little
Left-hand side.
sliver.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
But what about the orange?
So that's the
bottom?
Island Grove Pond.
Yeah, we have a 200-foot buffer. for
Yes, so that's only showing the 100 currently,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm just curious, like, how much of, I think I already know the answer to this. How much of it is already degraded?
All of it.
All of it?
All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all
The
I,
existing building's more into the buffer zone.
Yeah,
than the new
so-
building.
that's what I noticed,
Yeah.
yeah. It looked like it was pushed back,
So this is all currently.
yeah.
Yep.
And then there's a memorial, I think, right about here.
Yep.
Yeah, I know where that is, okay.
Just to give you your bearings too, on the left where Brian's pointing, that's the driveway that leads into the cemetery.
Right.
Beyond that is LaPointe's site. Beyond that is the river that 200-foot buffer
Right.
relates to. So we are literally, there's a maximum 5 feet in that 200-foot.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, typically if we, we're dealing with riverfront,
Yeah.
yeah, but this is all degraded anyway.
It
and
is. It is.
So,
Right, and if I could mention on the right side, that semicircular, the reason that that's shown as a buffer zone is because there's a ditch, a man-made ditch with stone walls behind Mr. DiCarlo's house, who lives right on Central Street. And then it enters the culvert right behind his house, and the culvert goes underground and eventually goes into Island Grove Pond. So there is a limited amount of wetland plantings, I guess, right along that exposed part of it, but so then we add the 100 feet beyond where the culvert starts.
Yeah.
But you can see, we're not altering any wetlands again, we're not filling any wetlands again, everything is what it is. Our driveway that we're gonna build, we pulled away from that area, and if you notice on the left side of the driveway, there is a little collection area. Any surface water is gonna run away from the culvert, it's gonna be collected right where Brian's pointing right there.
Yeah, we tried to do our best with above ground detention, but there's just high groundwater here, so, we do have some underground stormwater, and we're gonna treat and infiltrate all that stormwater. If you're not familiar with the existing DPW too, because this is your yard, and most DPWs have a lot of stuff in their yards, and it's not very clean and clear. So we're gonna clean all that up. There's not much stormwater. As you can see, there's not many structures shown in this area currently, but this is all, I wouldn't say it's paved, it's a combination of paved and stone and dirt, kind of.
Hardtack.
Yeah. They use it, they store, accessory vehicles back there they're doing equipment on, or they need parts from, or just in general, these are their material bins. They keep, stone or sand, depending on an emergency. Millings for asphalt, things like that. So, when we do a lot of the DPWs, we really try to focus on efficiency and organization, because the quicker that they can have a cleaner site, the quicker they can respond. Same thing like the fire department right now, most of their equipment doesn't fit well, but, now they'll be able to fit all their apparatus in here, it'll be all undercover. That's another thing, really trying to get all the vehicles and equipment undercover so they're not leaking,
Yeah.
so.
So the entrance into Mount Vernon Cemetery, all that greenery along that line as you go into Mount Vernon now is all going to be removed, and that's going to be all blacktop in there?
Let me see.
Just a question I had.
It's already blacktop.
No, in fact,
Yeah.
we're going, as part of this project, we're replacing the fence that exists there.
Okay.
It's an old wooden fence
Yeah,
that's kind of dilapidated, so we've talked to members of the cemetery association, and I think they said that they prefer a chain link fence in that area, I believe, what it was.
Yeah, so I'm looking in the plan, and just, to confirm that existing tree or shrub line that it is gonna remain to exist. It's on their property, so I don't
Okay.
think we can touch it.
very good. No, it looks
It,
wonderful.
it's a little grayer, so you can't really see it
Yeah.
because it's existing in this.
And it's such a small 200-foot riverfront area right in the front there,
Yeah.
so it's already degraded anyway.
The reason why, oh, I'm sorry, you,
No,
I like the fact that it's pushed back further from the street too, that makes it,
Well, we did that one reason because the fire trucks can actually turn around there
Yeah.
without stopping traffic. So it's kind of like an NFPA best practice.
especially where Route 18 is just so nasty up there.
Yeah, I'm
It's
sure.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just looking at figure 4 in the booklet here.
Yeah.
There are some wetlands back in the woods there, and it seems to be pretty close to where the fuel island is. So I'm just curious if there are any sort of proactive measures to prevent, leakage of fuel into the wetlands there?
Yeah, of course. No, that's a fair question. So, we prefer above-ground tanks, best practice. And so that's what we're gonna go with here. There will be spill containment, kits, and there will be spill containment, O&M manuals that we kind of provide as part of this, so, that is something that we have. There isn't like, I don't know if there's secondary containment, but, it'll look a lot kind of like a Cumberland Farms, for example, but above-ground tank. So you'll have the bollards, you'll have the concrete pad. So it's very kind of like protected compared to what it is now,
Right.
But yeah, it's a concern. And then if you're looking on the screen, you can kind of see, we're out of the wetlands, of course, but we're not, too far.
So where's the existing below-ground storage? It's not-
Existing below-ground
The
storage?
Yeah, you said there was, there's
Oh.
existing.
Right behind the basketball courts.
If you take a look on the screen right here,
Oh, right
do you,
here.
do you
Right there.
see that? So that's kind of, it's gonna be in the way of the fire department, so we're hoping to build the fuel island first and then knock that out,
Take
so.
that out. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's, if you,
It's right
it's
here.
right in there.
Yeah, okay.
can I add, whether we did this project or not, the town was in the process and wanted to remove the underground fuel tanks because they're old. No signs of any issues with them, but we want to be ahead of it, and the insurance company was encouraging, town's insurance company was encouraging that we do it. So if you recall, town meeting actually voted to fund this as a separate project because, again, whether or not this moved forward, we wanted to do this. So just for the viewers at home, phase 1, we're going to go out to bid as soon as possible, and this is one of the things we need to have is paperwork from the Conservation Commission, to build that new driveway off of Central Street over on the right side that services the new fuel depot out back, which is above ground, and the salt shed, because that fuel, those fuel pumps that are currently behind the DPW, and which will be now moved back further away from the pond and the street, that services all the town's vehicles, not just the DPW and fire, but police, schools, any town vehicle, that's where they will be going. So that has to be up and operational before we start doing demolition on site. So you'll see that happen first, and then you'll see phase 2, which is actually demolition and construction.
So 2 more questions, or actually, one's a comment. Which is that there is a lot of impervious surfaces in this plan. Like, this is a very large area. I know we have trucks and cars and fire trucks coming in, but I just wonder at the requirement for this much paved area in this kind of knuckle between this building here. So that's one question. If it can be reduced by moving the concrete generator pad closer to the buildings, so you don't have to do as much underground work. And then the second is, can we talk a little bit about the Connex storage trailers in the back?
Yeah, so he's pointing to right here. So the DPW and fire department both have a lot of storage needs and kind of items, so we're trying to be proactive, and so that's kind of like a dense grade pad or 3/4 inch gravel that, they can throw Connex boxes on rather than just maybe in the grass or on pavement and then they sink. So that's kind of that area.
So it's like overflow storage.
It's overflow storage,
They're actually replacing existing Connex boxes that are on site that are dilapidated.
Yeah.
And so like the DPW, for example, during the winter, they'll store a lot of the Island Grove equipment in there, or some of the push mowers, or traffic cones. Instead of leaving them outdoors, they try to put it so they contain it, clean it, and keep it free from anyone that wanted to walk away with it, frankly. So it was just kind of a cleaner, neater way to kind of organize some step storage.
Yeah, that's out of our jurisdiction anyways, up in that corner.
True. And to your point about lot coverage, that is something that the planning board and site plan review, we still have to go to the planning board. So the town's engineer is gonna review all of that, all of the stormwater, which I know is really, doesn't impact your decision tonight, but that, you'll see those site plans, because when we submit those to the planning board, a set will be brought and sent to you guys, and the town engineer will review all of that. And essentially, I don't wanna take away from my engineer, but the pavement actually does help us, because we can now channel rainwater, anything that's on the pavement, into the new catch basins, which have the gas traps and all that stuff to collect, whereas they really don't exist in existing conditions. Right?
That is correct. And, but, I mean, you know, and for example, a lot of things that are brought up on these sites are, you know, can we use porous pavement? We usually don't, because it gets clogged, especially DPW and fire department uses. Can we use light-duty pavement, minimize it? We try to minimize it, because trust me, asphalt, this heavy-duty pavement, it requires a, you know, thick subgrade. It's like 16 inches of compact, dense grade, then you put the 5 inches of binder and stuff like that. But the main thing is, you know, there could be the potential for overflow parking, but anything we can take out, we are trying to minimize as much as possible, for sure, so understood on that.
So you guys haven't gone to the planning board yet for stormwater? Because I know it's on our, because we have no jurisdiction over that, so if we issue a negative determination, I guess one of the conditions would be stormwater would have to be approved by
Town's engineer.
planning board.
Yep. Yeah, that's a requirement. We can't
Yeah.
move forward until that happens. Weston Sampson is working on it. As you know, it's a very detailed set of plans. We're hoping to get that filed and potentially have a hearing possibly in August. The planning board usually takes August off, so we have to kind of work with them to see if we might be able to get a special meeting. If not, we'll be there September. That's our goal. We are trying to move forward as quickly as possible to take advantage of the construction market out there and the bid market. So, because we'd like to be out to bid late this year and be ready for construction in 2025, right? Early 2025.
Anybody have any other questions before I open it up to the public? All right, anybody in the audience have any questions? I see none, so I'll bring it back to the board. If there's no further questions, somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for a negative determination for the IDA for 199-225 Central Street, Town of Abington, for a new stormwater management system, contingent on the fact that the planning board approves the stormwater.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you for your time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One hurdle.
Yeah.
That was a long.
It was a very long one. I was like, I was hoping I could remember it all.
All right, next up,
What to say.
RDA 799-805 Brockton Ave, filed by Brockton Ave Realty Trust to continue land clearing, looking to extend prior approval.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
I'm trustee of the trust that own the land next to Walmart, and we're looking just to extend the approval we had in place to continue clearing as necessary.
Okay.
So you had a negative determination?
Yeah, there's no wetlands up there at all. So
Right,
I think I put everything that I had before in this packet.
Yeah, the old one in here, yeah.
Okay. Where's the entrance in and out of your property?
Right now,
Yes.
right over Brockton Ave, right over the curb.
Okay.
It's like right here.
Okay, so how close of that is to the Walmart Drive?
I have an easement in the Walmart
Actually,
drive.
yeah, there's actually an easement to come in here from Walmart.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Does it, let me just point to the plan just to make it.
Okay.
Because this does not meet our jurisdiction.
No.
Just to let you know, over here, if they come in,
Yep.
you can go straight, and we
Yeah.
have the right to go this way.
Okay. So my only concern is that there's a retention pond here?
Yeah, that's not a detention pond.
No, retention pond?
It's not, it's, and I tried to find the Walmart, because that was on the Walmart plan,
777, yeah.
and that, for some reason, that area there did not fall under our jurisdiction. and I'm not, that was there. And,
Okay.
and I don't remember the reason, but that did, all the other wetland on Walmart did. There were a lot of wetland behind it and to the right side of it.
Yeah.
This side, there's nothing.
No, and I know that. In
Yeah.
the back of the property, there's nothing back there.
Right,
either.
yeah.
My only concern here is with that little retention pond, is that anybody who drives in and out of Walmart in the springtime knows that you can hear the little spring peepers in there. So there is a vernal pool
yeah,
effect
yeah.
in there. That's why I was just asking, where is the entrance and where
Yeah,
is it
well,
coming in and out?
the entrance right now is around here.
Perfect, because
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if we can give some space to this little area that's actually maintaining frogs right now.
Yeah,
I know they're
yeah,
frogs,
yeah.
but that's what we do with vernal pools.
Yeah, we're not anyway, I know where you're talking.
Perfect.
It's the chain link fenced area.
Right,
Right,
yeah, yeah.
right.
We're not
I
any-
just didn't
we're not
know how
anywhere near
close-
there.
Perfect.
Good
That
point.
was my
Yeah.
major
Yep,
question, because
understood.
I know where your property is, but I had no idea where he
Yeah.
goes in and out of, so.
So around that, you said there's a chain link fence. How
Yes.
far away is that chain link fence from the actual like pool
Oh, it's-
boundary? I don't know, I've never,
Oh, when you go into Walnut, I mean, it's just.
Right across from Billy's Liquor, going into
it's-
Walmart.
Yeah,
there.
but from the pool itself, it's probably maybe 25 feet or something, and because
It's
the
right up-
roadway is right there to Walmart.
okay,
It's right up against Walmart's driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Lynn.
So,
there you go.
thank you.
I was like, I don't
All
have any
right.
pictures, but yeah, no, that was my concern,
Yeah,
I just didn't
yeah.
know where he was entering and exiting from.
And like I
That's all.
said, I don't.
So are you, you know, in terms of clearing the land is what, right, you were talking about, the RDA?
That's area you're talking about
Yeah.
is not on my land.
It's on Walnut.
It's on the Walmart land, and we're clearing straight in from my property and to the
that.
left.
Okay, yeah.
So it's nowhere even
No.
close.
It's
So
no-
you're
100
This is
100
up in
feet
the
away
front
at
corner
least.
of Walmart's
Yeah.
land, at
So
their
So
entrance.
basically where it's already cleared, you're gonna go
Right.
straight
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
So right,
Yep.
so
Okay.
it's already cleared there.
Again, I knew there was land there, but I didn't know how
Okay.
close. Thank you, that's exactly what I wanted to know.
Anybody have any other questions? Open up to the audience.
Oh, I think that was it for my question.
See no questions, bring it back to the board.
Well, Russ Wheatley did that filing years ago, huh?
Yes.
I'll make a motion for a negative determination for RDA for 799-805 Brockton Avenue filed by Brockton Avenue Realty Trust.
Do
to
I have a
continue
second?
clearing.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good luck, thank you very much.
Sorry that we're stealing the chairman, by the way.
No, you're not.
Yes,
No,
No,
you're
we're glad to
not.
have him.
I know, that's okay.
It's not going
I
anywhere.
get a nice mug out of that. I never get that in my, I never get that in my 3.5 years in conservation.
No,
Wow.
nothing in conservation. All right,
That's how we'll spend our money. Mugs, yeah.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna jump up, enforcement order for 1212 Bedford Street and/or 3 Highland Road
Bump them up,
to next on the agenda.
okay?
Lynn, you wanna take away on this one?
Okay. So first thing is that we gave them an enforcement order, but we didn't give them a deadline to do things in enforcement orders in order to make it so that if it ever goes in front of a judge, you can say, we gave you a, you know, we told you to do X and we gave you to do it by this date.
Like we did with 267 North Quincy Street at the last meeting.
Exactly.
Right.
So the question we have now is, we told them they need to do a delineation, and we need to figure out a date, a deadline for them to do it by. So we just need to amend the enforcement order. So that, there's that. The second thing is, I mentioned, we need to bring in 1200 Bedford Street into the discussion of that, so maybe we could have them come before us.
At our next
At the
meeting.
next meeting. I think that's pretty much it. So we have to think about what kind of deadline do we want to give.
What did we finally do with North Quincy?
November 1st.
November 1st?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the thing is though, we gave them more time because they have 33 acres and it's gonna cost them $30,000 to do the delineation. This is a much smaller piece of property. We have not given people that amount of time
Yeah.
for anyone.
No, I was
so-
just curious what we had said there, but,
Yeah.
I don't know, 60 days, and that, you know.
Yeah, because if it turns out that we need to restore, we would want to do it before, was it October 15th?
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna meet that, regardless when we give them for a deadline, I don't think you're gonna meet that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we can, I was thinking the same thing, do 60 days for a deadline for the delineation,
Why not 45?
just to get somebody out there. Remember,
And then draw it and stop it, you know, it's.
Zero
they're-
Hancock
they're
Street, how long did it
busy.
take them to get somebody to get out there and do it?
I mean, this is a busy time of year.
Yeah.
It is true,
you know,
yeah.
So,
I was just thinking.
we don't want to give him something that he can't do,
Mhm.
you know, and
True.
then come back and say, well, I couldn't get a button.
Plus, if they wanna do something out there, they're gonna wanna get somebody out there
Exactly, yeah,
earlier than 60 days if they can.
yeah.
If it can be done before 60 days, great, but no longer than
Yeah.
No
60
longer
days.
than 60, yeah.
Yeah.
And we told them we wanted borings and everything.
Yeah.
When they were here, so.
Yeah.
What would that put us for a date?
So we'll send them a letter.
That's August,
Yep,
Yeah, so let's
August.
take this to
August 11th or August 12th,
Do August 12th.
that's a Monday.
So I would go August 15th by the time we get the letter out there.
Yeah.
Probably, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
So is that all we're gonna give them for a deadline right now? And then,
So delineation needs to be performed by August 15th?
and do we wanna say restoration needs to be done by, we can put a
Yeah.
date, and then, obviously, if it's not doable, like we did with, Zero Hancock Street, we just they ask us to extend it, and we extend it.
Yeah.
Right, and we wanted updates from them on a bi-monthly, more monthly basis, so we know that activity has been progressing along.
So if we give them 60 days for the delineation, then that's September, October, by October 15th, they should have it done. Like you said, if he wants to use it, then he's gonna get it done.
Right.
It's gonna get a little tricky because a big chunk of that particular wetland is on the 1200 Bedford Street,
Yeah.
so they're just gonna have to figure something out.
Yeah, we don't know,
about-
I mean, if there's issues, and they just have to, or you guys are gonna have to have dialogue with all the parties, and if you gotta change dates around, you guys,
Yeah, you won't be here August 15th, will you? We all voted
no
against it.
comment.
Is that official?
It's not on the agenda.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if something changes with the other parties that are gonna be involved, then you just,
Yeah.
I was by there today, though, 1212 Bedford Street.
Yeah, I was too.
There's some equipment on there, and there was some more cement blocks. And they moved the mulch piles to
Did they?
Route 18.
That's what I thought,
They
yeah.
moved the mulch piles to Route 18 and away from the Reed's property.
maybe they're getting somebody in there to do the delineation already.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Wouldn't
Why
that
would
be-
you bring in concrete blocks?
I saw the concrete blocks, they're out of our, unless they put them somewhere else, but they were on the Highland Road side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I saw activity. And with an enforcement order, usually,
But we can only enforce what is in
Right.
our jurisdiction. Like the
True.
2 mulch piles that are on Route 18 that have been there,
right.
that's,
But I think they were the ones that were originally up.
I know there's one behind the Reed's property, so that one they moved towards Route 18?
Yeah.
I think so.
So, like I said, maybe they're getting it ready to do some borings and stuff.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can
And-
send up.
So when they do the delineation, are you guys going to ask for a peer reviewer before they do it, so you have somebody there when they're doing their work, or?
I want peer review for sure.
I,
I want someone to check the work
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
We're involving 3 properties, the Reeds, the other property and 1212. So it would be wise, I think, because you're dealing with 3 separate.
Right, and to have it, I think that our review should be there when they do it. Because
Yep.
otherwise,
You're just
they're gonna
gonna
have to go
prolong
out
it.
Yeah.
and dig their own.
Right.
So,
Can reach out to BSC.
well, I'm just saying, do we want to vote for peer review now? So we can start the ball rolling instead of waiting until,
Yes.
again, what do we want to?
So they'll have to notify us when their people are going out, so we can get ours out there at the same time.
But they're also going to have to pay for that too.
Yes.
Yep.
yeah.
So I guess we got to take a vote for peer review, and then I guess I don't know who's done it in the past to look up the peer reviewers on the commission.
I'm willing to accept help from anybody else too, though. I do have 2 that we have been using on a regular basis, but it would be nice to secure a couple of more. I do have someone in mind that's out in the western part of the state, and they will probably come out this way, but,
Yeah, there's another one I gotta get contact information on,
yeah.
and I'll get for you too.
Because it would be nice to have 3 or 4 to pick from,
Yep.
because not everybody's available. Like you said, we're getting into our busy season.
Yeah, Lynn's
Really
already
good.
done half the work for whoever the peer reviewer is with the timeline.
Oh, I think
and the-
LEC was the one that, so maybe we.
LEC did the.
Well, they did it for the
Yeah.
reads, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
work for the Reeds, so they're familiar with the site, so maybe they can, I don't know,
They're very familiar with it, so
yeah.
Well, that
We
would
could
make
ask
And
sense.
that is
I
one
know,
of
would
the
that be a
peer
conflict,
reviewers that
though?
we've used. They did Zero Summer for us when we did
Would
the
that be a
ANRAD.
conflict since they were hired by the reads, and the reads are part of this whole?
They
I
were
was
very,
gonna say,
Yeah.
is that in our best interest to hire them as a peer with
No, I don't think
with the
so.
property owner? I would say find a third party.
all right, so then there's BSC.
More work for Gene to do now. One off the board.
BSC or whoever you talk to.
Yeah, it is others.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll give me time to work on it. Yep. Okay.
So do we want to somebody want to make a motion for peer review for to go over the,
Peer review for the delineation of the wetlands for 1212 Bedford Street. And, yeah.
all right, somebody want to second
Second.
that?
Okay.
Rich, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And
Unanimous.
this is all gonna be in the letter to them
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Or within the next couple of days.
And then we have to amend the enforcement
Yep.
order.
So you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to amend the enforcement order for 1212 Bedford Street to include a deadline of 60 days, or August 15th, for delineation to be completed and restoration to be completed by October 15th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Good. Get that moving.
All right. Next up is RDA North Abington Substation, 60 John Street, filed by Mass Electric Company to install a private fiber communication via trench and telecom shelter at existing substation.
Good evening, everyone. For the record, my name is Hannah Raditz, wetland scientist with BSC, and I'll be presenting tonight on behalf of.
Oh, wow, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. The peer review we were talking about earlier, off topic, I'm not sure.
Matthew,
Matt Byrne?
Matt
Yeah.
Bird.
That
Yes.
would be him. Yep, I work out of our Yarmouth office, but
Oh.
I work with him from time to time.
Oh,
He's out
very
of our
nice, good
Andover
to know.
office. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll just go through a brief discussion of this project. It's a relatively simple project proposed within the existing North Abington substation. The purpose of this project is to support future substation upgrades, which involves supervision of the substation remotely, as well as data acquisition over time. So this conduit, which is proposed within the substation, will be supporting that future monitoring. The resource areas we have on site are the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland, which is associated with the surrounding areas of French Stream. We have the 200-foot riverfront area from French Stream that does cross the site. We also have the 25-foot no disturb and the 35-foot no build under the local bylaw. What is proposed within the substation boundaries is one telecom shelter, which is a small building which will be housing the technology for this future supervisory role and data collection of the substation. Also proposed is 300 feet of 4-inch PVC underground conduit. This is the conduit that will be supplying electric to this supervisory technology. 13 feet of this conduit will be outside of the fence on the north side of the substation, and 17 feet will be outside of the substation on the south side. All the rest of the work will be contained within the existing substation. So currently the site within the substation is either paved or gravel, and the area that's slightly outside of the substation, the 13 feet and 17 feet, is sort of a mix of exposed soil and gravel. What is proposed for this work, essentially the trenches will be dug, the PVC will be installed and connections made. And then these trenches will be backfilled with that soil that's excavated. Any additional soil will be disposed of off-site appropriately. They will be returned to original grade within the substation and outside. As I mentioned earlier, some areas are covered with asphalt and some with gravel. Those will be replaced in kind. For the areas of exposed soil, we can cover that with gravel or use a straw mulch, which is like ripped up bits of straw, which would allow the area to get coverage. And we could also seed this as well if there's any concern for these areas. They seem relatively well stabilized. I didn't notice any erosion from the site, but this could be done as a precaution. BMPs that we'll be proposing for this work include the typical staked hay bales, silt fence, or straw wattles, whichever the commission prefers can be used on the site, or all. No other BMPs are likely going to be needed. Within the application, we did include the typical BMPs that would be used for a project like this, including catch basin protection bags, but I don't believe there's any catch basin protection bags on the site. Exclusionary fencing was also included in this as BMPs as well, just in case it is needed. For access to this site, there's a paved road, John Street, which leads to the site, so they shouldn't need to construct any construction access. And because this disturbance will be quite limited to these small trenches for the conduit, it's unlikely that they'll be tracking any soil. Typically with these excavated trenches, they keep a really well control of that soil excavated because they intend to backfill it, so it shouldn't be tracked around the site. That covers the majority of this project, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to the commissioners with any questions they have.
How deep is the trench gonna be? Roughly 3 feet, maybe?
That is actually information I don't have. I'm assuming this won't need to be very deep.
Yeah.
And also the size of the conduit, of the PVC being only 4 inches, I expect it would
Yeah, it's
be
not gonna
maybe,
be
yeah, like 1 foot by 2 feet.
Yep.
Something like that. We can get a confirmation from Miko.
So it appears that the new structure is right kind of over into the no disturb zone, but there's plenty of kind of open space nearby. Has there been discussion of maybe just moving the building over a little bit so it's not in the no disturb zone?
I believe it was placed there because it has to logistically for the conduit.
Okay.
That's just where the conduit needed to go within the substation. I believe they already conducted dig safe and confirmed that this had to be in that area, otherwise they would shift it.
Yeah, there's probably other utilities in the area, so they can't
Yeah.
put it there.
And that building is also completely within the substation fence.
Okay.
As far as erosion control, I don't want hay bales, I'd rather use straw wattles. Anybody else have any other comments, questions, concerns?
You were saying that There's probably not gonna be a lot of dirt being tracked out.
No, it's, I guess that's why I asked.
With
on
a
each
trench
of
this
them.
small, usually they excavate it and they leave that soil right next to it. This work is typically done pretty rapidly, so they can even fill that back in. If it's roadway work, they have to fill in that trench at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And for safety's sake, they often do. So that soil is moving, just a foot away from where it's excavated, so that really reduces potential tracking from vehicles. But they'll probably be using just a small excavator for this project.
Anybody else? All right, anybody in the audience? All right, bring it back to the board. Nobody else has any other questions? Somebody want to make a motion?
I think you guys answered it all.
Huh?
I think she answered it all. I was gonna say the same thing about hay bales. I know we don't like
Yeah.
hay bales.
I'll make a motion to approve the RDA for the North Abington.
Negative
sub-
determination.
Negative determination, sorry.
Yep.
For the RDA for the North Abington substation on 60 John Street.
I have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you all for your time. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, next up, INRAD 0 Shaw Ave, filed by Manny Ramos, Shaw Ave Realty Partners LLC. The usual plan?
Good evening, I'm Ken Thompson from Wetland Sciences, delineated property. How are you doing?
Good, how are you, Ken?
Congratulations, Paul.
Thank you.
The area slopes west to east, the larger wetland down on the edge, and it's a till site. It's all got a lot of till in the site, and it is outbreak in lower portions. But it doesn't stay, water doesn't stay there long enough to support a lot of wetland vegetation. We have a lot of oaks, beeches, wood chase, all on that edge. So you'll see some hydric soils when we go out and look at it, but look at the vegetation, please. One thing that happened out there, the channel that drains across the two properties, the new subdivision and our property, I didn't flag it. I was more concerned with wetlands because everybody kept saying the wetlands went into that property. They don't. There's upland soils, there's a band of upland soils between the two, but there was a channel. And since construction of that subdivision, now we have 3 discharges going onto the property, and the erosion's about 60 feet wide now, and eliminating our entrance onto the property. So we decided to go in there with an ANRAD, so you people can see what's going on. I think the land was originally, when they built McHugh Circle, he owned all of that land. But then he sold off the 2 pieces. There's no easement to dump water on that property. So I have a question. But I want to start with the ANRAD, because the proposed plan is a single-family house. There may be ways around it, but that's an issue we're going to have to deal with. I have photos if you want.
Please.
So you're gonna come in off of Grant's Place?
Shaw Street, this is Stubb. I'll keep you just stand.
Yeah.
We're up.
Right here. This is Shaw Ave here. This is Stubb. This is paper road. This is make sure it's original. So I think this also, like I said, it started in 2005 with the McHugh Circle.
So just curious what this, the Woods Trail
Yeah, that was always there. Somebody
just
had a
curious
little
what it
walking
is.
trail through there.
is a walking
There
trail?
was a few pieces of it going along the wetland.
Oh, I
edge.
see it right here.
Yeah,
Was that just
that's been there
just
since.
because?
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody used it as a walking path.
Okay,
It's nice open, it's a really old forest,
yeah,
at least up in the hill. We got
Coffee for
trees like
everybody.
3.5 feet wide,
yeah.
now laying on the ground.
Oh, thank you. Paul.
Everybody get the coffee. You get some extras.
Did it? Oh, yeah, that was
Did you
gonna
guys take them down?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are extras.
Copies already.
keep. You used your 11 number.
So,
Thank you.
I'm a little confused. You said it's gonna come in off of Shaw Avenue?
Yes.
Where
There's a
does
paper
that?
road right off of McHugh.
Oh, I see.
Oh, so it's coming in off of that McHugh.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 'cause Shaw is kinda all the way back up.
So you can see in the first picture, the new box culvert that lets the wetland drain across.
Yep.
And the arrow's pointing to a 26-inch pipe, which I believe is the street runoff of McHugh, but I'm not sure. Maybe you guys have more information on that. And then the second picture is a new infiltration basin, and is located to the left of the box culvert. That little walking picture on the second page down, the picture above it, up near the bushes on that picture. And that was the original location where it came in, which was about 6 feet wide. Now with the 3 drainages, like I said, it's a zillion little rivulets cutting through the whole area, and like 60 feet across. Now we can't get a driveway in. If it was just a 6-footer, we could put a parking on a box culvert. Right now, the way the owner looks at it, he doesn't have an easement across our property. And since the sale was from the original guy and he sold 2 different properties, that's the issue, really, I think. You have to see it. The pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah.
So I figured this is a good way to start, instead of coming in here with a notice of intent,
Yeah.
doing all the engineering. Have you been to the site yet?
No.
No.
I've been down
We
there.
actually-
I live right around the corner from there.
Okay.
I was wondering about all the water, where it was gonna end up at the end of the day, and it seems like it's this property, which has me wondering why it makes sense to put a house there.
Well, it's not their property. They don't
Right.
have the right to dump it on our property.
So is this, are we talking about a complaint for where the water's going?
We're
or are we talking
gonna
about-
end up working on that. We've tried to touch the other owners, lawyers and stuff like that, and I guess it just hasn't worked out to date.
Okay.
It's more to bring everybody back to the table and come up with a resolution. It could be as simple as a stub off of his subdivision. Just get past this, but
So you're saying it's coming in from McHugh Circle? Is
it's a combination of the new subdivision, and I think McHugh. There's a 20-inch, 24-inch pipe there discharging, and it's probably 30 feet in from McHugh. And it doesn't run down McHugh, because we're at the bottom, there's a ditch along that paper street,
Right.
sure. I think that's where it all went before. And then they've had that, you look in the aerials, and they had a stormwater pond there. And they had a loop outlet right there, feeding that 6-foot ditch. And then, since you come in with this, just open everything up. So we want to get the line approved and just bring this to your attention.
So did Rourke own this at one time? Rourke, they own
McHugh? Yeah, they owned it all.
They own this.
They owned it all and had a little old detention basin at the bottom with an overflow. But I think originally, if you look back, I think an intermittent stream drained through there anyways, okay? I think he just caught it and then discharged it out.
Well, we should have Nancy pull the plans for McHugh Circle too.
Yep.
Take a look at that.
Um,
'Cause I thought it was somebody else, and I can't think of his name right now, that owned at the end of Grant's Place.
And you got more history on it than I do, you know?
And because this might not be, because I know McHugh was trying to buy that to access something else they had at one point, do the whole thing. So anyway, yeah, we should pull McHugh Circle before we go out there.
Appreciate it.
And speaking of going out there on the forms, the site access authorization form, we need to have, the date is missing.
I thought I typed it in and sent it in.
It, this.
5/14.
Yeah, it's not on here. And then there's another acknowledgement of the checklist, and then there's also the property owner.
I've sent copies all that in. I
Okay,
have 11 copies I sent in.
okay. I just want to make sure, because
It's
also I
just-
don't see it,
No,
their
it's just the way I
signature.
fill the permit. I put all the blank, not the blank stuff, but the stuff that I have to fill in, and then once I get the PDF set up, I just install it, and it's probably me again.
Okay, okay,
Getting old.
okay. Just want to make it, especially because of the site
Yeah,
access
I
authorization
remember your
form.
email.
Yeah, okay.
So we wanna set up a site walk now, or you wanna wait until we get the files together from AccuSur? I mean, those should be,
I'd like to see the files from the Q Circle and just see how that ties into your property here, because
And if you get any more paper trail on the property owners, that would be interesting.
So question, if, he wanted to build a single-family home, do you have an idea of where that was?
It'd be toward the walking trail, the walking path there, up near the
at
school.
the top or further
Yeah.
down.
By the
or-
easement?
Yeah, the land slopes up to that point. It's real kind of low and shallow
it's got
here,
35
and then it
foot
slopes up
master, so that
to that
puts
top left corner.
that's your 35,
Which would
that's your
be-
25.
Southeast
Those are
corner?
tight.
No, southwest corner.
That's the only thing we could do is,
That's what I was trying to figure out, it's like, where does the house go here? Because I was trying to figure out, when I looked on Mass Mapper, I saw part of a wetland on the property, and then there was a little bit of open space, and then I saw another wetland over here, and I'm like, there's no hydrological connection between the two. But
there wasn't.
was there? All right, so like, you're talking about right down here. So you're gonna access from up here?
That's our only legal access onto the
Wow,
property.
that's a long driveway to plow.
Well, he can give us some stuff right there.
That would be
We can
nice.
resolve a lot of this.
Yeah?
I mean, it just, it's gonna turn into a legal battle, and let's try to stop it ahead of time.
Yep.
Yep,
Resolution's easier.
absolutely. Bring all parties to the table and know what's going on.
This idea might be more willing than the previous owner to do something.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Just my opinion.
There's 375 feet of frontage on that one lot, so there's plenty of room, I
Yeah.
believe, right?
And then it eliminates all this,
Yep.
yep.
Stick plugs in them all.
I don't think you'll get anything out of the previous owner. out there.
Okay, maybe that's why. We're 2 years down the road and we're still talking about it. So you're gonna set up the meeting after you get your paperwork together?
I'd like to see the McHugh Circle file and
Absolutely.
find out what the drainage and what that 24-inch pipe and,
Yeah,
I see
me
the
too.
culvert and everything, but it's like, I know nothing about it. I don't know if everybody else is familiar with it, but
It was a long time ago when that went
before
in.
my time.
I would just mention,
Well,
we've
we
had
issued an
in previous
extension for
meetings,
it.
some residents from Grants Place
Okay.
talking about drainage
subdivision.
from the house
Yeah.
that's going on McHugh Circle.
Right.
So this is just gonna add to the, it's sort of potentially gonna exacerbate the
snowball
problem. Yeah, just a thought.
What's
But
that?
if he can come in down here,
Down here.
and put the house
Oh, I see
here.
what you're saying,
That
yeah.
would,
on-
that
down
would
the other end.
eliminate a lot of it.
Yep,
Then that would retain what it is
right.
and turn into whatever it is, and he would have his access down here instead of going.
Well, just remember, there was an original ditch along Shore Road there, that little, and it goes all the way to the back there.
Yep.
And there's a pocket wetland on the other side of it that connects by culverts over to the downhill side too.
Yeah, it's just
I-
low-lying area in general.
This-
That front
Yeah,
piece does,
Yeah,
but it rises up,
So
like I
that's
said.
what they want.
yep.
yeah.
Just let me know
Just trying
when,
to build a
okay?
case.
So my understanding of, and I don't know much about this, is this road was already made, it's already been made right now?
Yep.
Yes, that road's in.
And so,
Those are, we did a bunch of NOIs for the
NOIs for
house.
this
house
area.
over
Right.
here.
so
We-
the last one I remember was 10 McHugh Circle when I first
That's the
joined.
first one in, that has the detention pond on it.
Yep.
And that is one of the problem areas? Or is it
Well, that's when the
something else?
neighbors were here complaining about their
everything's-
water.
Yeah.
When
On this map, everything's coming out. Here's that lot,
Yep.
and the
Okay.
detention pond's there, and it's coming across here in 3 pieces.
And if I recall, they were regrading to help.
Well, I
But that was more
remember,
for the subdivision, not for the individual lots, so.
I remember when that got approved and there was an owner worried about
More water, yeah.
water, and,
Yeah.
they said, oh, it's gonna go elsewhere. You don't have to worry about it, and now here we
You might have
are.
met my boss.
Yeah, they were concerned.
Who
I
we-
vividly remember because.
Well, they were concerned about going to Grant's Place. That's what they were.
For a
concerned.
couple years ago?
Yeah, no, when this NOI came in. They were worried about the water getting to Grant's Place.
There's a lot of, that's the low part.
Yeah.
That whole corner down there's the low
Yep.
Yeah.
part.
All right.
All right, so we'll let you know when we're gonna go out there.
That'd be fine.
Mr. Chairman, somebody from the audience wants to comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You want to just get up to the podium and just name and address, please?
Yes. Yeah, I'm Stephen Geddes. Oh, good evening, by the way. Stephen Geddes, 30 Grants Place. I just have a couple questions about where the water is going from the runoff, all right? Because on this document here, and you have the big one, but I just have a small one, from the report that the botanist made, he's missing the runoff drain, the storm drain, on the right side of my house. And that water goes at least 100 feet off my property into the property behind. And I don't know if it's lot 73 or 74, but it's right on the border. And I have pictures and actually have a document I wanted to submit to you, but
73 is this one.
is it all right to submit a document showing the pictures and?
Yeah.
So here's some of the water that's coming from my property.
Oh, wow.
That's from
Basically
from
an
the pipe. This is what's missing. He's missing the storm drain, and it runs right over here. And so if you could do a site visit and take a look
Yeah.
at where that water's going, it goes way out in the woods now. And there's my easement. I've got an easement. There's the pipe. There's the drain on the street. There's the pipe. It's an 18-inch pipe, and it goes. Here's my easement, and it goes. Here's my property line. It goes out. Here's the picture of it. There's the pipe.
That's, yeah.
But this where it goes out in the woods.
Yep.
And it goes out for 100 feet, 200. I didn't go
Oh,
out
yeah.
there with the tape measure because it's not my property. I went to the property line, and as far as you could see, there's silt. It never, clears up. And I actually did put this in an email to the botanist, and he did not respond.
I responded once,
No.
I didn't get your second response.
Yeah, you didn't get the one with the questions. But
Okay,
that's
thank you.
okay. It wasn't that one.
No problem.
Anyways, that's all I got. I just want to know where the water's going, because we get inundated from both Crabtree, Shaw, and Grants. The water just comes pouring down.
Yeah.
And it goes up, and it's got to go somewhere. So
Yeah,
I don't think we've mapped it out, that's all. I just want to make sure that you have the whole picture. So you're on the site visit anyway, so.
Thank you, Mr.
yeah. I
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you
that.
so much.
Thank you, Mr. Geddes.
So at the end of Grant's Place, if I remember correctly, they did some sort of, I forget who, you want to pull Grant's Place file too? Because they did some sort of long type of
Oh, so here's the easement. There's Grant's Place is like right there.
system.
Okay.
It wasn't actually a pond, it was,
So
I don't
there.
remember what it was, but there was something odd about it.
Okay.
And that's probably what he's talking about, is probably not working.
Yep.
I can't remember the guy's name on that, but it would be in that file for Grant's
Okay.
Place.
All right. Well, I'll be up to see Nancy tomorrow anyway, so I'll make sure I
Yep,
have her look up the NOI numbers and I'll just,
yep.
I don't see any catch basins in Grant's Place. What do we got here? All right, so, Gene, you're gonna pull those files, or?
yeah, I'll see Nancy tomorrow morning and I'll just ask her to pull, or I'll pull it myself. I'll just need the NOI numbers.
Add that to the file.
Yep.
So there's a double catch basin right at the end of Grant's Place. I'm guessing there's a drainage easement that comes through here like this. So all the water comes from Grant's Place, goes out
Wow.
to here. That's my guess.
That's crazy. Look at that. Mr. Geddes is-
All right, so do we want to continue this to the next meeting, which
Yes,
would
please.
be the 25th?
I'll make a motion to continue to May 25th.
Jim,
June, sorry,
June
why am I
25th.
saying May? I don't know.
You want to go back in time?
I do want to go back.
I want to go ahead a
Second.
month.
June. I want Paul to stay.
Me too.
Somebody want to make a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
All right, so I'll have Nancy pull.
All right.
I'm gonna add this to the file. Okay,
Next up,
thank you.
ratify enforcement order on 60 Barry Road, Ribeiro, Delvany, Pinto. Lynn, you want to take lead? You wrote up the enforcement order for this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
so,
can come up, sure.
Yes, Robert, I speak very well English. It's my name David. I'm the husband her. Yeah, I need to know what happened there. No? That's what would help for.
so we had a report that there had been a pond on the property?
Yeah,
that
the
had been
pond, I'm
filled
gonna
in?
fill it up probably 3 years ago. I'm talking to the guys there for the conservation. Some neighbors call for, I'm gonna fill it up there. He say it's no problem because no, when is my son's help me there for
Sure.
translation?
Sure,
Because I
go
don't
ahead.
speak very well. Não é natural lá, como tu fala?
It's not a natural pond. Foi feito de homem.
Yeah, it's the old.
It was man-made.
Não tinha.
But you have two streams coming down.
Yeah,
And
the
then it
stream.
goes around your house with that little bridge over it.
Yes,
And that pond was all part of that.
it's the pond is the part there. I'm gonna talk to the guys there then. He's for the conservation, I don't remember the name, probably 3 years ago. He
I've
say-
been on the board for almost 4 years.
For years.
And we've never,
I don't know,
nobody's discussed it.
never send me the letter about, no? That's why I'm gonna fill it up, talk to the neighbors. I don't know why.
Okay.
So they sent you a letter?
No, I have the letter for this week.
Oh, this
It's
one,
like
okay, I
week,
thought
yeah. And
3
never
years ago.
letters come home.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was a filling in the pond and therefore work within the stream area, that's a 200-foot buffer, and then any wetlands in that area. So if you work within 200 feet of a stream, river, or within 100 feet of a wetland, you have to come before us and ask for a permit to
Okay.
do that.
I understand, because my first house with the buy, I'm trying to clean it up everything, because the house there, it's a lot of dirty, everything. The pond so smell bad, mosquito everywhere. She had talked to me about for fill it up, about so stink, because the pond is, it's no use, the water's dirty water. Try to
This is
help me,
probably
like-
some of the runoff from the property we were just talking about. It
Right.
goes that direction.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are two streams. here.
Yeah.
Oh, are there two? Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't
It
realize
And
that.
they come
runs
together into the
behind
pond, then it went out around.
the houses.
It was Joe's house.
Yeah, the stream's not connected in the pond. I have the pipe there before. When I clean, I see the pipe, and when I start to fill it up, the PVC pipe. Yeah, I need help there, guys, what I need to do it anyway. I never do the problem like that before. I don't have time to work in my house a lot. I only work the weekend. I have my own business, work the masonry. Yeah, I need help there.
Want
Why
to do a
didn't
site
you
walk
do it?
over there?
Yep.
And see
Yep.
see the extent of everything?
Yeah.
When's a good time to go over,
And
that we can-
visit your property.
But, whatever you want, because I'm working a little bit far now, I'm working for River.
Well, would your wife be available
Oh,
if you're?
yeah, yeah, I mean-
Okay, you don't have to be
Okay.
there if you're working, I get that. But
Yeah.
so long as someone's there that allows us on the property
Sure.
so we can look
Sure,
and
sure,
see.
yeah.
And
no
maybe
problem.
your son, so.
Maybe
Yeah,
your
yeah,
son, if he
yeah.
has any questions, you can converse with your mom.
Yeah, because a little bit mess there, because I work the masonry, sometimes I'm.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
concerned
so I have the
about,
little mess there. I have the bobcats, the thing, my stuff there. This is, use the area for my stuff there, bobcat, trucks. Yeah, whatever you want when I go there, no?
yeah. It's just that, when a complaint comes in and knowing the area and that there are streams there, those are protected by conservation.
Okay.
And that's why you got the letter,
Yeah, I got the letter right now,
right?
yeah.
So,
Probably in 2 weeks, 2 months.
Who did that come
The
in
letter's coming in 2 weeks.
from? Do we know who that came in from? Was that Just something
I
to
have
bring
no
up.
idea.
Okay.
1 week?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's 1 week I got it already
Yeah.
there, never.
Yeah.
Sure.
So when's a good time to go out? Maybe we'll set it up now.
I'm usually, is someone there at noon during the week?
School is out, are you home during the
Um,
noontime hour?
Tomorrow is the
It's
end,
great.
Right, but
Tomorrow's
we're
the
like
last day
maybe
of
next week sometime.
anytime next week.
Yeah,
Check
check my
your
number and
schedule.
give me a call when I have some people home.
I'm only around Monday and Tuesday next week, then I'll be on for a week
There you go.
to the house in New Hampshire.
Must be nice.
That's why I'm working all weekend.
I don't think I have anything going on. Tuesday then?
We
Tuesday?
could do it Tuesday.
How
I
about
think
I
Josh?
can't make it, I'm out all next week.
You're out on next week. Okay. Josh, are you available at noon on Tuesday?
I just started my new job.
Okay.
I'm like,
It's okay.
I can't do it.
Wednesday, Thursday next week is all I have.
Okay. So
I
I
could do it Tuesday.
can do it Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Oh, wait a minute, can I do it, wait a minute, let me check my, I think I can. I don't remember. Tentatively, I can say yes. If not, no, I think I can.
Well, I mean, just the two of us can go out too.
Yeah, listen, I drove by.
Oh, no, I can, the 18th?
Yeah,
Yeah,
at noon.
noon. So noon on June 18th,
Next Tuesday?
next Tuesday.
It's hold on. Sorry, guys. When
No, that's okay, she has to check, no, that's fine.
Chief is good, please for your hold on me, chief. Yeah, it's only my son's homes, he's wanna walk with him there, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna look
June-
around.
Yeah, we're
Not
not-
gonna.
Yeah,
that's
we'll
it.
just look around and then we'll let you know from there.
Yeah, what he needs to do, it doesn't matter when, I don't wanna trouble, no,
So we have your permission to go there next Tuesday at noon?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Asheti, Asha,
Okay,
Asheti,
okay.
100 feet.
No. Só fiz um shed agora. Yeah, he's talking about the shed. A friend of mine gave one shed, I'm putting the shed there, on the top, the 3/4 stone.
We'll take a look.
Yeah,
at
you
it.
wanna look there anyway, when
Take a look.
Right.
whatever I need to do it, I'm trying to do it.
Okay.
Because I didn't know because there was already one shed
Yes, I have the one.
before that was like really close to the river.
Right.
And then we didn't know like
Yeah,
it was violation.
right. Okay.
Check it out.
Exactly, and
Thanks.
any conversations that we have with regards to the property will be brought back and you'll be notified, so. I mean, it's not like we're gonna sit there and go, oh, no, you know,
All right.
so.
Great. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so do we want to ratify
Why don't we
this?
hold off until after we do the site walk?
Okay.
I swear I'll make a site walk one of these days.
It's okay, it's
Yeah,
okay, it's okay. How did the
I'm
new
sorry.
job go?
It's going well, yeah. It's a lot
Excellent.
right now.
All right,
That's good.
next up, Hanson Tree, 832 Randolph Street, discussion on restoration and buffer zone, and I guess we'll tie in site walks, because there was one performed today,
Yes,
so
there was.
take it away.
Justin was there and Lynn was there and I was there, so I'll let Justin talk.
Yeah. Well, basically all around the property itself is surrounded by swamp, more or less. And they've, you can see it's pretty obvious that over time, the property has sort of expanded into that area with a lot of mulch, and the ground is very soft in certain spots. That's clearly just, fill or something that they put in place there. There's also a lot of garbage that's scattered around in and around the pond area. And they've definitely, we met with I forget his name, I apologize, but their wetland scientist.
He was there.
He was there today, yeah, and he took
Dave-
some soil
David?
samples with the auger
Dave.
and showed us. It was, he delineated, there's flags where the wetland was, and there's clearly spots past the flags where there's an issue, and his proposal is to have them build a berm, an earthen berm, he called it, surrounding the entire edge of the property. That would then, and then restoring the wetlands beyond the berm. And that would require, I think, them doing that within some of the do not disturb zone, or within the buffer zone, right?
Yeah, he explained that last week.
Yeah, so, but there was no one from Hanson there with us to discuss it. It was just us walking out there. So, I mean, my feeling about it is that they have a lot of work to do.
And I think that's
But they're,
Dave's feeling too.
yeah, and they're well qualified for it, because they are, you know, that's what they do for work, or at least part of what they do. So hopefully they'll be able to resolve it. But I think, I mean, I'm not a voting member yet, but I would imagine we want to give them some timing. Yeah, right, exactly, pretty soon. I imagine we'd want to give them a deadline to fix it.
Well,
They-
I think we told them at the last meeting, we want a notice of intent.
Yep.
With, after the sidewalk, a notice of intent, so
Yep.
I think that's,
Well,
I
restoration
also,
plan.
yeah, I would like to
Yeah.
see a restoration plan, but I also have some other things to add to the site walk today. Part of the property, the buffer is in Abington, but they are also in the wetlands of Weymouth. So I think we need to notify Weymouth and let them know that this is their issue as well. Aside from the degraded buffer zone and the migration of their parking area into the buffer zone, there is a salt shed on there that's open to the weather. And I also noticed some storage containers with fire extinguishers outside, concerning their trash is overflowing, which is flying into the wetlands as well. I did take pictures, and I'm gonna send them to Nancy and have her print them.
Should send them to the Board of Health, too.
I will send them to the Board of Health, and I will also send some to the fire department, because why would there be storage containers with a fire extinguisher next to it outside?
Well, they have a lot of wood there.
These are concerns. Sorry?
I was gonna say they have big piles of wood, so I assume they need to keep
No,
fire
but this was over
extinguishers
by
away.
where the salt shed was.
Okay.
There was these two storage things, and then they're sitting on a block, and then there's a fire extinguisher right there.
Yeah.
And then they had the Connex containers, and they had the batteries in there and stuff.
Yeah,
And then
right.
these barrels, I don't know what they are, but again, while you were behind the wood piles,
Mhm.
I was walking that part of the property. And that's when I said, you know, this is part of Weymouth's concern too, because the wetland is in Weymouth. The buffer is in Abington.
Yep.
so, yeah, we should
We need to notify Weymouth
Weymouth, the fire
Conservation.
department, Board
Yep.
of Health.
Yep. I mean, the site, other than just encroaching on wetlands, it was dirty.
Well, you also noticed what you thought was diesel in the ground?
Oh, that's right, too. By one of the giant piles of wood chips, I took some photos, and he told me it was manganese from the wood, but yet when I put my finger in there, manganese wouldn't stick to your finger and turn it all black. So there's some diesel issues, and I don't know how much is in the ground. I don't want to know right now at this point, but I did take some photos, which I will have Nancy print off and put in the folder.
So do we want to send a letter to Dave and the owner about our concerns, so before he does anything, he knows what we're looking for?
Well, I mean, when Dave came before us, we told him I think we told him we needed a notice of intent after the findings from the site walk, so we just basically, now we need to tell him, all right, we need a notice of intent by this date.
Well, he
And
was
outline our
actually,
concerns.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's the point, yeah.
so to be clear, there's a difference between the restoration plan and a notice of intent. In talking to him, he was really aware of it, and his whole thing was, yep, we'll do a restoration plan. I guess he's on Conservation Commission in another town?
Yeah,
Clinton,
up
I think.
there, Clinton, yeah, in
Yeah.
Bolton.
And he's very, eager to work with us and do
He
things.
seemed it on the,
Yeah, he's
Zoom
a
and-
very nice man, he's very smart.
yeah.
So one of the issues too is, all right, Justin, you didn't bring it up, but
Oh,
human waste.
I wasn't really gonna talk about it. Yeah, it did appear that there was human waste, like someone had been just using the ground right along the wetland border there to use the bathroom.
And secondly, there was a wetland flag that they had just completely knocked over.
Demolished, it was covered
Demolished.
under a wood pile.
There was
And
one that was
so-
just missing altogether.
Yep.
It just
Yeah.
wasn't there, yeah.
So
How
they-
was the delineation?
It seemed to be pretty good, in my opinion. I mean, it was hard because he had to go down so far.
But did you guys do
We
take any
didn't-
samples or no?
We
He
just
did.
did one, and
Okay.
it was like, okay, now we're gonna go through the mulch. Okay, finally we found, here's topsoil.
Right.
Okay, now we're getting down, he dug so much, he only had like this much of the auger left.
Right.
Getting down there.
Yeah, he seemed very fair, like it didn't seem like he was biased in any way towards.
No, yes, he was very
his
fair.
client.
I mean, his
Yeah.
presentation from the first meeting was,
Yeah, and he explained why he put the lines where they were, and it did make sense based on what I saw. So, I mean, like Gene said, there is supposed to be at least a 35-foot no disturb because it's a business. And that, he said, would put them out of business. So what they want to negotiate is a 10-foot with the big earthen berm. And my concern with the berm is that
they'll just
they're already
bulldoze right over it.
pushing into wetland flagged areas.
Yeah,
I don't think that they're gonna respect.
no.
They might go ahead, okay, we're gonna pay for a restoration. 2 years from now, go whatever.
What about a fence?
I'm
How about a
thinking
concrete barrier?
I love those concrete barriers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
they already have some there on
You
the
can easily
site.
move those. If they want, if they're gonna disregard the,
If we're gonna cave a little on that, then we need a permanent
yeah,
barrier, either a fence or
Yeah.
concrete or something, so they can't just
Right.
bulldoze it
Mhm.
over.
Okay,
But I don't even know if, what is the limit where they go out of business? Right? Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 25? I don't know.
Well, I think the burden of proof would be for them to prove that to
Right.
us.
Yeah.
If they would say, oh, if it's 10 feet, then we're out of business, okay, then prove that this, if they're asking for some relief from the commission, then they need to prove to us what is too much to ask for them to stay in business. But Lynn, I also share your concerns with the berm. I was thinking about it over the last week. Like a 20-foot mulch pile with a 5-foot berm, even if they're not doing it on
Spillage.
purpose,
right.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, pushing it with a loader, it's guaranteed to
Right.
push over the berm, so I would be concerned that, a small berm wouldn't provide the protection that we would want of the adjacent wetlands.
Yeah.
yeah, I think you'd like you were saying, Alex, put some sort of like chain link fence or something in front of the berm,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, it's a well-traveled area by all of us, so if
Mhm.
anything happens, we're all
We'll
gonna
see it.
know,
Right.
once it's done, that,
Right.
basically they're, I mean,
One of the things I did notice, do you remember last year after we had been out there and I think Kathy had mentioned how they had planted trees to where the wetland.
no, that the gentleman we met out there said that.
Right, they planted the trees. They actually killed off a couple of the trees
They
with
still
their
have the
piles.
tags. Still have the tags on them.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, so that only shows you that it just keeps,
They put the mulch on top, and you can see burlap bag
Yeah.
completely exposed,
Gone.
just not well.
Oh, that's the problem when you're talking to certain people
yep,
about things, but that doesn't get conveyed to, I don't know how many employees they have, but if they don't know
true.
what's going on out there, they're not gonna respect it.
Definitely signage would be in place,
Yep.
conservation signs all over the place.
Can I ask a general question just from a place of not knowing? Is there something that the Abington Conservation Commission or the Weymouth Conservation Commission could do to maintain that edge of the wetland? Let's say that we don't have faith that they're going to maintain it, even though we ask them to and they do it, but then we don't think there is. Is there something that the town could do to help maintain it with a physical barrier or something else?
Well, that's why
I
we're
just
saying
don't
put a
know. I'm
fence up
just
inside
asking.
it.
Well, the fence or the.
Right.
Yeah.
Barrier.
Barrier
It's
right
their
along the
responsibility.
wetland,
Right.
maybe, and then, if we did like concrete
Would have to have would have to
So-
have,
If they're into the Weymouth wetlands too, I mean, they might have regulations too that say,
Right.
right,
so, yeah, we're definitely gonna
need-
need to get them involved.
we need to.
They may not be
notify
as forgiving either.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
We are a kind board.
But do they, yeah, but how does that work? Would their regulations stop, like if they're,
The buffer is on Abington side, the wetland is on.
but I'm saying if, is there buffer in Weymouth too, in them wetlands? Or is it-
It's hard to tell because
But
it's
I'm
been
just
so
saying, where does-
compromised.
Yeah.
Where do their regulations end? Does it end at the town line?
I would say
And
the
then
town
ours
line.
kick in?
I'm going to say it probably ends at the town line.
Or would, if they'll say the wetland, this is just
Hypothetical.
hypothetical. If the wetland is right at the Weymouth town line, so would their regulations supersede ours
I
to?
think that's where you would
better
find two,
protect-
no, I think that's
I
where
mean-
you'd find two conservation commissions
Yeah,
coming
work
together
together.
to resolve
Yeah,
a common problem, which would be encroachment into wetlands.
Yeah, they may even want to be at
yep,
the
Yeah,
hearing.
I mean,
Notice of
we
intent,
uphold the same and swore to uphold the same
yep.
yeah. Right.
laws, so.
I mean, we might have separate bylaws, but it's still the
Right.
same wetland regulations.
Exactly.
I don't know if they, I don't remember seeing Weymouth bylaws, but,
I don't either.
um,
It's a city, so I never really looked, so,
well, when I went through looking at, for regulations,
yeah.
I tried to look up every bylaw.
Oh, did
in
you?
the state. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's why when he said Clinton doesn't have one, I went, yes, I know. Because I looked up every website. But I don't remember Weymouth having,
Yeah.
well, regulations, maybe they do have bylaws. But it would be, yeah, I think we need to get them involved and
Definitely.
explain what
Definitely
we're
have to.
doing, and
Right.
they might, I mean, it's a good question. If they're like, hey, we have a 30-foot buffer and we never give anybody a break,
Yeah.
but technically it's on our side.
Right. That's why I think, I mean,
The Weymouth side.
you'd think you'd work together and
Yeah.
come up with a common
Buffer.
goal and
The wetland.
resolution.
Yeah.
So, we want to give them that, can they do the restoration plan and NOI concurrently, where we would approve the restoration plan, then once that's approved, approve the notice of intent?
Well, I think they need a notice of intent for the restoration.
That's kind of how we did it across the street, right?
Yeah, yeah, they,
Just a restoration
yeah,
plan.
No, they're doing a notice of intent
they're
across
doing
the
a
street.
filing a notice of intent with their intentions, with their plan to restore it. I think it should
I
all be
thought
on.
Andrew said not to do it that way.
That's how we do it, we're doing it with the similar situation across the street, though. We told them to file a notice of intent.
I mean, they can't do restoration without filing a notice of intent.
No, you can file a restoration plan, just flat
Technically,
plan.
it should still have the.
We can ask for clarification on that, but I see what you're saying. We did it with the, yeah. I think before we have them fill out the NOI, I think, number one, I'd like to hear from Weymouth and have Weymouth input on this before we tell them how we want. Well, no, we can't.
No, that makes sense, because we might assume we're gonna do something a certain way, then they might throw a curveball, so I'd rather have,
And we need Weymouth's input.
yeah. They might say, you know what, you guys found it, it's more on you, you guys.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
might.
they
deal with
might
it.
just
have us
defer
handle
to
it.
us,
Yeah.
right, but I'd like to hear from them.
Yep.
In the best world case, maybe, you know.
So how do we
It's in
wanna
a
do
weird
that?
area of Weymouth too, that little strip.
Yeah, it is
It's
the
only
weirdest
a
thing.
little.
And around less than a quarter mile.
But you know what's, you know
Yep.
what's funny about that little strip of
Send them
Weymouth?
there.
That is a
They
lot of
probably have an
their,
agent, so.
headwater for their water supplies and
Oh,
everything.
is it?
Yeah, so isn't on your side where the Weymouth up behind you, isn't that the headwater for their water supply and everything?
Yeah, like across the street.
Right, but don't you think that that crosses
Oh, yeah,
under
yeah.
139 and comes in along there,
Yeah,
so.
because I mean, that's what he mentioned at Dependable Tree, which is
Right,
almost literally across the street.
right,
It all goes down underneath 139,
and
comes
feeds
back
over across
out.
the street of Abington.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will email Wayman.
Okay.
And I would just, tell them, do a site walk, and here's that wetlands in
They'll need to make the correction.
your jurisdiction have been compromised.
You don't want any ethics violation either, so.
Yeah. You want to have any.
Accuse yourself.
Probably, I'd give him,
There's plenty of other people for Wood to do that.
Hanson's contact too. Do you have it? I'll forward you that.
Yeah.
And David. That way that they can email them all together, or if you want, you can just have an email with the four of you on it, or 5 of us.
Okay. Okay.
And we'll discuss it again at the next meeting and see what Weymouth has to say, and then take it from there. All right, next on the agenda is update on complaint from DEP located at 267 North Quincy Street. I don't think there's really anything to discuss on that. We gave them deadlines, and hopefully they follow them.
Okay.
All right, next up, enforcement order on 225 Brockton Ave. So I dropped the ball on that. I never emailed the property owner about the site walk. So I guess I will email, tonight I'll email him, when do we want to do a site walk for that property?
Okay. Just put it on the next agenda, and also, I noticed they're not doing anything there, it's cleaned up.
Yeah, I know it's
Yeah.
clean, so.
So, at least they've stopped whatever they were doing, so.
Yeah, maybe if you can just email them and just
Yep.
have them give us their availability, and we can decide at the next meeting.
Yep.
'Cause if there's no activity there, that's fine with me.
All right, permits, you see the permits that are on the agenda, they were all, I think, one deck and a bunch of above-ground swimming pools, nothing anywhere close to our jurisdiction or any buffers. There's another one today, hold on. Make sure it's not on here. $1105 Plymouth Street for another above-ground pool, replacement of an above-ground pool. And also today, I'll jump ahead to correspondence. I got an email today, I don't know, were you copied on it, Lynn? Island Grove Pond.
Yeah.
So they're looking to go out and do treatment this year for the invasives on the pond on Wednesday, June 19th. They're gonna send out required letters to the abutters. Was there something that, were they supposed to post signage up too?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah. So I gotta
So
tell
didn't
them.
they start that last year, wasn't it a 3-year
Yeah,
program?
yep. And then we'll put something out on social media, just to let people know like we did last year.
Yeah. I do have a question, Mr. Chairman. There was,
There's some other correspondence in there too.
okay, Nancy asked that nobody leave until you sign whatever paper she gave us to sign, so.
Pass them down.
I'm writing.
No, we have, there was an issue on Walnut Street, has that ever been taken care of?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
I'm still looking into that one. 261.
Yes.
Meeting minutes, May 14th. Does anybody have any questions on that one?
Nope,
I wasn't here.
nope, it looks good to me.
Somebody want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May, what was the date?
14th.
14th.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Rich seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
One abstention. All right. You guys have correspondence?
Yeah. I'm looking.
Yeah.
Because I was
All right.
With a big long stretch.
Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Second.
Rich beat you. All those in favor?
Aye.